Hope.com.
Welcome to Transforming Your City Radio with popular leadership expert coach Dr. Dave Robinson. Dave is a full-time executive leadership coach who travels the USA and oversees more than 250 days each year, helping leaders improve their skills and seeing their vision become a reality. He's authored 4 books on leadership and publishes a monthly e-newsletter read by more than 40,000 people in over 30 nations. Coach Dave tackles the 3 key leadership questions. What do you want? What do you have? And what's your plan to close the gap from what you have to what you want? This is where coaching begins, transforming your city. Now, here's Coach Dave Robinson, Ph.D.
Hello, I'm Coach Dave Robinson, and welcome to Transforming Your City right here on AM 1160, Hope for Your Life. This is the show that helps you develop your own personal skills so you can transform your city through your marketplace leadership.
And now let's check the coach's clipboard. Leadership coach Dr. Dave Robinson shares what's on his heart, giving you a fresh insight and revelation into transforming your city.
Welcome to the Coach's Clipboard. Last week we were talking about why marketplace ministry is so important, especially during this time in our country when America is all abuzz about who's going to be our next president. Last week I finished with there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God, Romans 13:1. Ancient Egypt and America were very similar. Egypt prospered under the rule of the pharaohs God chose. For in Romans 9:17, the Bible says, "For the Scripture says to Pharaoh, for this very purpose I have raised you up, that I might show my power in you, and that my name might be proclaimed throughout all the earth." Why has history unfolded as it has for America? Why is the church in a battle for its very existence? Why does the church seem to have no clear, actionable strategy beyond prayer meetings and church services to regain the places of influence that controls America and every other nation? Why has God not sent a Moses to lead America out of the moral cesspool in which she wallows, dug by unrighteous leaders while the church stands idle in the marketplace? These and many other why questions are being brushed aside in our mad rush for electing someone to lead our once Christian nation while ignoring publicly the root cause for her dilemma. Because of the church's lack of relational equity and sustainable influence in the marketplace, the place where all kingdom battles are won or lost, our remaining choices for president reveal the true spiritual condition of the church in America. All informed Christians know this is not going to end well unless biblical Christian values once again permeate the very fabric of our nation. The institutional church in America has been mocked and soundly kicked out of our society. 100 years ago, prayer was sought and celebrated at every public event. 50 years ago, it was allowed and tolerated. Now, if you even attempt to pray without permission, you're violating the law of the land. Deliverance will come, but not from the institutional church. The days of high-profile deliverers is over. Every Christian must arm themselves and do battle every day in every place God assigns them. Church leaders, it's no longer about how many attend your church and how big is your budget, but how many of your warriors are winning the battle for righteousness in their marketplace assignment. America in my generation has gone from America, one nation under God, to a nation divided and living under a blaspheming king we call president. In just 240 years, we've seen the church that came to America, united in purpose, laid the foundation for a Christian nation by possessing the gates of influence to our current state of moral chaos. How did it happen? As America grew in wealth and power, she began to forget. She forgot the why of America. She forgot that America was created by God and empowered by God with inalienable rights given by God and not man. She was sustained by God through wars, disease, epidemics, economic recession, and a tragic civil war between brothers that nearly ended all hopes for the fulfillment of her God-given destiny. A destiny now about to go down in flames unless the church repents, not only for her sins of commission, but also for her sins of omission. Her failure to possess the gates of the enemy may well be her demise. How long will we sing, God Bless America, while we murder almost 700,000 babies a year? How long is it in God we trust beyond our currency, but no longer trusted to be in our classrooms and visible in our marketplace. Our once Judeo-Christian beliefs, once the basis for our entire existence, are now under attack and in intense pressure from all sides. Thank you for listening to the Coach's Clipboard today. America will get the president God wants. Next week, tune in for part 3 as we talk about how you can change the marketplace through your leadership.
It's the Coach's Playbook. Dave Robinson travels more than 250 days each year coaching globally to help transform cities and nations. With his effective teaching style, Dave presents today's leadership moment highly relevant for you and your city.
This week on the Coach's Playbook is my recent talk at the 2016 Logos University Conference in Jacksonville, Florida, where I spoke to about 200 leaders from around the world. Logos is what it is today because of its leadership. It will be what it's going to become because of its leadership. Now, there are 7 things here about how you leverage your leadership influence. First one, I'll help you fill in your outline. So here we go. Number 1. One way to do it is create and maintain a sense of urgency for the future. Number 2, stay focused on the critical strategic issues. You see, the word pastor, the title pastor, by definition, is a manager. Okay? That's their calling. They are to manage the flock. I deal with churches and organizations, as it says, 250 days a year for the last 11 years. And I can tell you, one of the greatest struggles within the church world is understanding the difference between pastoring your people and leading your people. They are not the same. If you are pastor by gifting and pastor by title, pastor by function, probably should not be leading, which means creating the future, because you're going to struggle with strategic issues. You're going to struggle with creating what's not here. You see, managers take care of what we already have. Leaders, apostolic leaders, create what we don't have. That's why there are manuals for how to pastor. There are manuals for how to have weddings and funerals, what I call the hatch, match, and dispatch ministry. Baby dedications, weddings, and funerals. That's all part of pastoring and shepherding. But if you are at the top of the pecking order in whatever organization you're in, your role is to create a way to the future, be able to clarify that future, energize the people and say, this is where we're going and this is how we're going to get there. And aren't you excited about going on this journey? No, Pastor, I don't feel good today. I could care less about the journey. I'm trying to make it through today. And if you are a leader, you find one of your shepherds and say, listen, Sister Jones is struggling today. She's not ready to join us up at the front today. So help her. Get her ready. A, identify issues and develop a plan to solve them. B, management problems indicate leadership failures. Managers solve daily problems. Leaders correct leadership failures that created them. Coaches are about helping you deal with present reality. Because if you're not willing to deal with present reality, you're not ready for the future, whether it's tomorrow, next week, a month from now, or 5 years from now. See, stay focused as a leader on strategic issues. Matthew 6, seek ye first. Seek ye first. Leadership is about seeking first what's going to get us where we're supposed to be going. Number 3, stay focused on high leverage activity. A, invest time, energy, and resources in activities that produce the best return on the investment of your time, energy, and resources. Every leader wakes up every morning facing 50 gorillas, give or take. You can't take them all out. Leadership is about knowing which ones do I take out first, and then after first, what do you do? What's next? If number 1 is first, what's number 2? There is no number 2. Okay? Don't get in the trap of doing number 1 and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and by the time you get down to 7 or 8, you're running out of energy because you're not as energized to solve 5, 6, and 7 as you are 1. For leaders, when you deal with 1 and it's gone, number 2 now becomes number 1. You give it the same amount of energy and resources. Do them one at a time. The scripture, Philippians 3:13, Paul said, "This one thing I do." Every day, leaders have to say, if I can only do one thing today, what is the one thing I'm going to do? Next week, we'll go further into my recent talk at the 2016 Logos University Conference in Jacksonville, Florida. If leadership is your challenge, give me a call at 844-704-1444.
The second half of this week's Transforming Your City program is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to popular leadership expert, Coach Dr. Dave Robinson. Now you can receive Dave's monthly Transforming Your City e-news, read by more than 40,000 people in over 30 nations, free of charge. Visit transformingyourcity.com and sign up today. All we ask for is your email address, nothing more. Visit transformingyourcity.com. That's transformingyourcity.com and get on the Coach's e-news team today. It's time to get to work transforming your city. Idle in the Marketplace at the 11th hour is the popular must-read from Dr. Dave Robinson concerning the church's most important mandate. Connect with Coach Dave. Become a member of the team at transformingyourcity.com. With your donation of any amount, you'll have online access to the Idle in the Marketplace audiobook. For your contribution of $35 or more, we'll include a print version as well. Perfect for highlighting and taking notes, plus a print copy of Dave's popular 100 Leadership Nuggets, the perfect guide for those who want to lead well. Your gift will help Transforming Your City impact lives globally for the kingdom. And Transforming Your City is part of E41 Marketplace Ministries. Visit transformingyourcity.com today and look for Idle in the Marketplace offer. That's transformingyourcity.com. Here's our toll-free number, 844-706-1444. That's 844-706-1444. Toll-free 844-706-1444. Transformingyourcity.com. Transforming Your City with Dr. Dave Robinson. What do you want? What do you have? And what is your plan to close the gap from what you have to what you want? This is where coaching begins, transforming your city. Now, here's Coach Dave Robinson, Ph.D.
In today's Ask Marketplace Leader segment, I talk with Pastor Daryl Merrill. He pastors Christian Life Church in Mount Prospect, a great friend for a long, long time. I know you're going to enjoy the interview.
Ask the Marketplace Leaders. In the course of his travels, Dr. Dave Robinson connects with leaders in all areas of influence, business, government, and church, and invites experts to join him in this segment. Let's learn from leadership that will help you transform your city.
Well, with me today on the program is Daryl Merrill, pastor of Christian Life Church in Mount Prospect. When we look at the first 300 plus years of the church, I don't know if you studied that part of church history or not, but it seems like there were a lot of things going on. There was a lot of advancement. I think that the enemy thought he had the church rounded up in Jerusalem and slaughtered 6 million of them, and that would kind of be the end of it. But 300 years later, here they are back, and they can't seem to be held down. What was it during those first 300 years that drove them with such passion and the advancement they made versus what you see happening in the church today?
You know, I think the enemy in those first few hundred years of the church really was firing on a couple things. One, the idea of wiping Christianity out. If we could just kill everybody, destroy the sacred writings, burn them, we could do that. Or the other thing the enemy, I think, was trying to do during that period was put some false teaching into the truth. And by putting that false teaching in, and you can begin with Gnosticism and go outward to those different first cults of Christianity, just trying to season it a little differently than what Jesus had intended for the church. And so we see both of those things happening. And obviously we want to look at the sovereignty of God, that he was there and he was giving supernatural protection so that not everybody was martyred. Obviously, the teaching, sacred writings, all of those, there was some type of special, like I said, supernatural protection that God was giving the early church. But I think what was happening was there was an understanding that they were on a mission. And I don't know that that's something we've continued to this day, that there's a mission to accomplish. And what we have become sometimes in church is this idea that, especially a church that's established, that maybe has multiple generations in it, that, my kids and my kids' kids and their kids will be baptized here or dedicated here, or, it'll just kind of keep going on and on and on. And we forget, as we perpetuate our buildings, as we perpetuate our ministries and things, that we forget that we're actually on a mission from Jesus. And that's what I love about every now and then taking a look at the end of the New Testament, the end times, that there's a mission to accomplish, and when it's accomplished, Jesus returns, that we have a mandate. And so I think the early church realized they were living in the last days, so to speak, that they had a mission to accomplish, and they were doing their best to accomplish the mission. They didn't know that it was going to go on from generation to generation. And I think sometimes we have the idea that we need to perpetuate what's been happening to keep it going, to keep the tradition going, forgetting that there was a Great Commission.
Jesus talked a lot about the kingdom when he was here, and we don't hear so much about the kingdom today, especially not to that degree. We hear a lot more about the church. Would you talk just a little bit about the difference between the kingdom and the church, and what role should the average churchgoer, we call them, how do they relate that to everyday life where they go?
There's a lot of talk about the kingdom today, probably more than ever. And I think in sometimes working inside of church or with other churches, I think there's kind of multiple kingdoms out there. And I don't ever remember Jesus talking about a kingdom that was plural. He was talking about the kingdom. He was talking about his kingdom. And the thing I love about Jesus' teaching is that when it came to the kingdom, he told us a lot of stories about the kingdom. And it wasn't just the words in red with a bunch of teaching about the kingdom. He says, the kingdom of God is like, and then he would tell a story. And so those stories, I believe, should be the basis for our theology of the kingdom. And today, a lot of talk about the kingdom is sometimes what we do or what we don't do inside of the church, outside of the church, or probably more so inside now more than ever, that the church is the kingdom, and that, the light is inside, and we're to shine out to the darkness and all of that. But in Jesus' teaching on the kingdom, it was something that was to be valued, it was something to be strived for, and it was something that was to take ground and expand and grow. And so when we see those teachings about the kingdom, we realize that there is a job to do. I'm just trying to think of a few, that the kingdom would be so valuable, whether it be the pearl of great price or the buried treasure, that this is what we're called to. This is what we've been looking for. This is what we're meant to do. And then, whether it be the story of the leaven in the loaf, that a little bit of leaven works its way through the whole loaf. Again, that's a picture of the kingdom, that the kingdom is going to expand. The Bible says his kingdom is without end. So this idea that I'm building my kingdom or our kingdom is here really isn't what Jesus taught. It's something bigger. It's something growing. It's something expanding. And going far beyond what we could think it is, but to really permeate everything. I mean, that's what he's saying. The kingdom's going to permeate everything. It's going to work its way into the whole loaf, and that this is what we give our lives happily for. So I think we have to go to Jesus' teaching about the kingdom rather than what we think the kingdom is.
I'm Coach Dave Robinson. I hope you enjoyed our interview with Pastor Merrill. Look for more great talks with marketplace leaders next week on Transforming Your City Radio.
It's time to ask the coach. In this segment, Dr. Dave Robinson goes to the phone, social media, and emails to answer questions directly coming in from thousands of weekly listeners to Transforming Your City.
I'm Coach Dave Robinson, and you can ask your question on Ask the Coach. Call us toll-free at 844-706-1444. You can also ask your question by email at info@transformingyourcity.com or use the contact form on our transformingyourcity.com website, or send us a message on our Transforming Your City Facebook page. This week, our question comes from Jerry, who listens on transformingyourcity.com website from Phoenix, Arizona. He says, I hear a lot about teamwork and team building. What are your thoughts on building a great team? Well, that's every leader's responsibility, is not how much they can do, but how much they can get their team to do. Building great teams comes through relational equity and vision. It's not accomplished by your inspirational speaking, but passionate listening. You must understand the hearts and minds of those you lead if you want to keep their hands and feet for the long haul or during the tough times. Tone-deaf leaders create negative emotions, confusion, and eventually discord and strife. Learn to ask better questions. Listen with your heart. Provide support, develop skills, create agreement, and above all, make the emotional connection with your people. How you view people is how you treat people. If you view them as your helpers instead of you being their facilitator, you tend to use people and not empower them. You must listen with your heart, not just your head. Most accomplished leaders can outtalk someone, but most never try to outlisten anyone. Try it. That is how you help people the most and build the most relational equity from which the future demands are covered. Leader, if you and your team cannot answer the following questions, the success of your mission is doubtful and probably not worth anyone's effort. Number 1, mission. Why do we exist? Number 2, vision. What do we want to be? Number 3, core values. How do we behave? Number 4, present reality. Where are we now? Number 5, strategy. What is our action plan? Number 6, performance agreement. How do we measure success? And number 7, role definition. Who's going to do what by when? I've worked with many leaders who cannot answer these questions with certainty and wonder why their people are not excited and engaged in the mission. If you and your core team cannot answer these 7 questions without hesitation, do not expect the answers to come from your frontline people. The great football coach Vince Lombardi once said, the achievements of any organization are the results of the combined effort of every team member. Individual commitment to the mission. That is what makes a team work, a company work, a society work, and a civilization work. It's amazing to me how hard most leaders and their teams work, but they cannot answer these questions. Think how much more effective and efficient your team could be by simply knowing the answers. If you know the answers, the energy level rises, the focus is sharper, and positive results are substantially greater. You will never know where your team is mentally and emotionally unless you ask them these 7 questions. Let me ask you, why do you continue leading a team without the hearts and minds of those you lead in the game? Lewis Carroll once said, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. It's not enough for you to know the answer to these 7 questions. Your team must know them, or it's like running a 100-yard dash with a safe on your back. Isaiah 30, verse 21 says, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. As a leader, you need to help your team answer those 7 questions.
It's time to get to work transforming your city. Idle in the Marketplace at the 11th hour is the popular must-read from Dr. Dave Robinson concerning the church's most important mandate. Connect with Coach Dave. Become a member of the team at transformingyourcity.com. With your donation of any amount, you'll have online access to the Idle in the Marketplace audiobook. For your contribution of $35 or more, we'll include a print version as well. Perfect for highlighting and taking notes, plus a print copy of Dave's popular 100 Leadership Nuggets, the perfect guide for those who want to lead well. Your gift will help Transforming Your City impact lives globally for the kingdom. And Transforming Your City is part of E41 Marketplace Ministries. Visit transformingyourcity.com today and look for Idol in the Marketplace offer. That's transformingyourcity.com. Here's our toll-free number, 844-706-1444. That's 844-706-1444. Toll-free 844-706-1444. transformingyourcity.com.
I'm Coach Dave Robinson, and my personal mission is to equip you with information to help you develop as a marketplace leader who's part of the Transforming Your City movement. Connect with me by visiting our transformingyourcity.com website or calling us today at 844-704-1444.
You've been listening to the Transforming Your City radio program with popular leadership expert, author, speaker, mentor, minister, Coach Dr. Dave Robinson. For more information on Transforming Your City, visit us on the web, transformingyourcity.com. That's transformingyourcity.com. Or give us a call toll-free at 844-706-1444. Again, that's 844-706-1444. Toll-free, 844-706-1444. Transforming Your City is powered by E41 Marketplace Ministries and the Fellowship. Visit us online at transformingyourcity.com.